Shalom, shalom, and welcome. My name is Symmanayah if you're tuning in for the first time. These are messages I'm compelled to present to those drawn by the Almighty Creator, the Almighty Father Yahuah, to His Word that was manifest in the name of Yahusha. And I'm referencing John 6:44. And I want you to also be mindful of John 14:26, which speaks that the Almighty Father sent His set-apart word in Yahusha's name. The message I have for you in this episode of End Time Realities is locations. My brothers and sisters, we speak much of how much we believe the scriptures to be true, how much we believe we are entering into some intense times, that end times are here, that we are moving beyond types and shadows to actual end-time prophecies being fulfilled. Before I get into this message, I want to ask that you consider planting a seed, a financial seed. I have a hashtag White Rose Family, and you can email me at Symmanayah@gmail.com if you need another method in which to contribute a seed of support. So I asked of you, have you considered what that seed will do for you, for me, for Yahusha? I know the Almighty Father hardened hearts and softened hearts, and there are a lot of people want us to contribute. That decision is up to you. But I ask that up front, my brothers and sisters, for the need has arisen. On that note, let's get into it. Let's unpack this thing of locations, my brothers and sisters. It may not be what you think it is, but consider investing your time and listening to the full message as we unpack it. You see, my brothers and sisters, as end times come, it speaks of movement. It speaks of intense times, destruction and death. We must begin to start thinking more about the people, time, travel plans, as they are given by the Almighty Father, our destination, resources and supplies. My brothers and sisters, remember, Noah was given a plan, and it took years to fulfill. But he did. He obeyed what was necessary. A plan from Abba Yahuah. Are we seeking His plan for us, for you? Take a moment to evaluate your position and location. It is time to begin assessing current expectations. Do they line up with our actions? The time has come for us to also examine those actions. Are we prepared? Have we begun to move? Are we preparing to move? Are we prepared to witness that in our location there may be those that will leave us? Are we prepared to understand the importance of locations? Noah was able to identify, act on the plans Abba Yahuah gave him. Musha demonstrated obedience when it came to leading the people out of Mitzrayim. Trust and believe, my brothers and sisters. End times are here, and we will discover our assignments and tasks. Prepare for learning how to examine, how to vet things thoroughly to avoid being led astray. Some will be led astray. I pray that that does not happen to you, to me, to us. But some will. We may not know who or whom. But what do we say to the person in the wrong location at the wrong time? What do we say? What parting words, what words of encouragement do we give the person that was left behind, that they may ponder on and remember? Come with me to Matthew chapter 24, verse 4 and 5. Matthew 24, 4 and 5, my brothers and sisters, and I'm in the eSword scripture version. It is written, and Yahusha answered, said to them, take heed that no one leads you astray. For many shall come in my name, saying, I am the Messiah, and they shall lead many astray. Not maybe, will lead many astray. Dropping down to the 9th and 10th verse, it says, then they shall deliver you up to affliction and kill you, and you shall be hated by all nations for my name's sake. And then many shall stumble, and they shall deliver up one another, and shall hate one another. This describes realities of what we are about to face. It goes on in the 11th verse. I'm still in the 24th chapter of Matthew. And it's saying, many false prophets shall rise up and lead many astray. It's time, my brothers and sisters. Know your surroundings and where you will be headed. Locations will make a difference. Do not be deceived, my brothers, my sisters. Do not be led astray. Be equipped with being able to identify, discern, and understand what is required of you. Let's take a visit. 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 3. 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 3 say, let no one deceive you in any way, because the falling away is to come first, and the man of lawlessness is to be revealed, the son of destruction. And it continues on by saying, who opposes and exalts himself above all that is called Elohim, or that is worship, so that he sits as Elohim in the dwelling place of Elohim, showing himself that he is Elohim. It's talking about he who is known, my brothers and sisters, and will come to be known as the anti-Messiah or anti-Christ. But notice it said there will be a falling away. Take a look at the following passage, my brothers and sisters. Though we were once scattered and are still scattered, there will be a return of the children of Yahuah coming together, a gathering of those selected by the Almighty Father to fulfill a promise. Look at Isaiah 11:12. Isaiah 11:12. It is written, and he shall raise a banner from the nations and gather the outcasts of Yasharal, and assemble the dispersed of Yehudah from the four corners of the earth. Many people don't realize or believe or take the position of belief that this will occur before the physical return of Yahusha. Consider Isaiah 43, 5-7. It reads, do not fear, for I am with you. I shall bring your seed from the east and gather you from the west. I shall say to the north, give them up, and to the south, do not keep them back. Bring my sons from afar and my daughters from the ends of the earth. All those who are called by my name, whom I have created, formed, even made for my esteem. There are passages of scripture that people will show you and try to lead you to believe that before the physical return of Yahusha, all of us will be gathered from the four corners of the earth. My brothers and sisters, if you look at what I read earlier in Matthew 24, it talks about some being led astray. It also talks about some being killed, martyrs for Yahusha's name. So do not be deceived thinking that all of us will be gathered from the four corners of the earth before the physical return of Yahusha. Now, of course, Judgment Day, we will be gathered before the throne. Jeremiah 23, 1 and 2. Woe to the shepherds destroying and scattering the sheep of my pasture, declares Yahuah. Therefore, thus said Yahuah, Elohim of Yasharal, against the shepherds who feed my people. You have scattered my flock, driven them away, and have not tended to them. See, I am punishing you for the evil of your deed, declares Yahuah. There's more. And he goes on to say, therefore I shall gather the remnant of my flock out of the lands where I have driven them, and shall bring them back to their fold, and they shall bear an increase. 4th verse, 23rd chapter still of Jeremiah. And I shall raise up shepherds, shepherds plural, over them. They shall feed them. They shall fear no more, nor be discouraged, nor shall they be lacking, declares Yahuah. Let me read and present another passage dealing with a gathering in these final days. Ezekiel 36:24 says, and I shall take you from among the nations, and I shall gather you out of all the lands, and I shall bring you into your own land. Ezekiel 37:21 saying, speak to them, thus saith the Master Yahuah, see, I am taking the children of Yasharal from among the nations, wherever they have gone, and shall gather them from all around, and I shall bring them into their land. My brothers and sisters, be advised, there are those who will say these gatherings have occurred. What has happened in the past, similar events can repeat to a degree. And I believe they will. I believe there will be a final exodus, a great exodus, or some will say the second exodus. Let me bring to your attention Malachi 3:6 and James 1:17. Malachi 3:6 says, for I am Yahuah, I shall not change, and you, O sons of Yaakov, shall not come to an end. In James 1:17, it said, every good gift and every perfect gift is from above, and coming down from the Father of lights, with whom there is no change, nor shadow of turning. Yasharal, my brother, my sister, there have been gatherings in times past, but the final gathering, that final exodus, will come. Locations must be important in order for us to be in the right place at the right time for whatever becomes us. As I stated, Noah was given a plan. Noah was given a detailed plan for leaving his home. However, Lot was led out of his home with minimal direction and possessions. In other words, he didn't know how far he would be going, but he knew that he would and indeed leave his home. The time is now to seek to discern our end-time duties and intended locations. Where do the Almighty Father want us to be? How long will it take us to get there? With whom? What actions will be taken? Have these discussions. It would be wise to embrace what is promised from Abba Yahuah and be able to discern, understand, and act, my brothers and sisters. Let's take a look and dive into Revelation 21, starting with verses 1 and 2. Revelation 21, starting with verses 1 and 2. It says, and I saw a renewed heaven and a renewed earth, for the former heaven and the former earth had passed away, and the sea is no more. And I, Yahuah, saw the set-apart city, renewed Jerusalem, coming down out of the heaven from the Almighty One, prepared as a bride adorned for her husband. And it goes on to say, 3rd and 4th verse, and I heard a loud voice from heaven saying, see, the booth of Elohim is with men, and he shall dwell with them, and they shall be his people. And Elohim, which means actually is plural for Almighty Ones, but there's only one Almighty One. Himself shall be with them and be their Almighty One. And the Almighty One shall wipe away every tear from their eye, and there shall be no more death, no mourning, nor crying, and there shall be no more pain, for the former matters have passed away. And it goes on to read, fifth and 6th verse. And I'm in the 21st chapter of Revelations. And he who is sitting on the throne said, see, I make all matters new. And he said to me, write, for these words are true and trustworthy. And he said to me, it is done. I am the Aleph and the Tah, the beginning and the end. To the one who thirsts, I shall give of the fountain of the water of life without payment. My brothers and sisters, it continues in the 7th and 8th verse. The one who overcomes shall inherit all this, and I shall be his almighty one, and he shall be my son. But as far as the cowardly, the untrustworthy, the abominable, murderers, and those who whore and drug, sorcerers, idolaters, and all the false, their part is in the lake which burns with fire and sulfur, which is the second death. My brothers and sisters, when it talks about a new heaven and a new Jerusalem, I prayed and sought to understand. For there are scriptures that say the earth will be forever. And here we see a new heaven and a new earth. And I'm compelled to believe that the Spirit of Yahuah, sent in Yahusha's name, that his word revealed to me it is like an onion with many layers. The earth is like an onion with many layers. And all that is necessary to burn and consume what is required by Yahuah will be consumed. But the entire planet will not be consumed in fire. Layers very deep. And then that new Jerusalem, that new landmass will rise up in these final days. But before all that happened, my brothers and sisters, there's a lot of work. There's a lot of details. There's a lot of processes that must be paid attention to and fulfilled to honor the promises that the Almighty Father has for us. I cannot stress enough, my brothers, my sister, I cannot stress enough the need for assessing our expectations and being prepared to act. Begin to discuss real-world end-time expectations. Some have started moving already. Some are in the locations that will be the final positions. But pray, have no doubt that the Almighty Father will bring guidance, warning, instructions, strength to fulfill what he has promised. Be encouraged, my brothers and sisters. Believe and trust that the promises of Abba Yahuah will be kept in full. Rise up. Hold your head up. Be encouraged. Begin to discern what is ordered by the Almighty Yahuah through his word, Yahusha. We must recognize in order to hear him, to understand him, it will be through his word, Yahusha. The scriptures tell us that no man can come unto the Father except by Yahusha. Many people don't understand the full dynamics of those words or the life in those words, but we will and we shall in days ahead. My brother, my sister, locations is of grave importance. Now and going forward, my brothers and sisters, locations will prove that we need to know where we are going, with whom, do we take anything or not. Locations. Pray and watch, my brothers and sisters. Don't take this message for granted. Don't ignore the time to move maybe now for some. And I believe on the Western Hemisphere, the great exit point would be in the state of Virginia from the port of Norfolk. And I've stated this before, and I believe that we will leave on cruise ships, container ships. More than anything, I have said in times past that I believe mostly and widely and wholeheartedly that it would be container ships over cruise ships, but I can't rule cruise ships out. Container ships will hold more than a cruise ship. Container ships can carry supplies and resources. Container ships can be custom, vented, designed, and shaped where they can be temporary housing once we reach our destination. They can be mobile. It may not be the luxurious custom container homes, and it may lead to that. That I don't know. But I have said in many years, container ships. Container ships, I believe, are designed where they can navigate in less shallow waters. In other words, waters that's not as deep compared to a cruise ship needing deep waters to get you close to the land. Just in case where we get off a ship, there isn't a port. But Yahuah, locations. Talk about it, my brothers and sisters. Talk about what kind of vehicle. How would you get to the exit point? For those outside the Western Hemisphere, I think there will come a time of movement, moving to the perimeter that closest pointing to the promised land. And I believe the promised land will be centered around the mountain known as Jabal Allahs. I believe that's the true Mount Sinai. Location. What locations will you embark on? What destination do you anticipate? If you search Genesis 26th chapter and Jeremiah 44, it talks about do not go into Mitzrayim. And if you study the scriptures, end times speak of Mitzrayim as a land of bondage, a place of bondage. And he say, if you go there, see, many people are saying just get out of the United States. They're calling this, well, this is Babylon, and get out of the United States. Go to the continent. The continent is divided, full of confusion and wars. There's much of the continent that is a land of bondage. True Jabal Allahs, the true promised land between the Euphrates and the Nile, my brothers and sisters, represent the land that it has been given to us by the Almighty Father, and he will indeed confirm it. So make sure when it comes to location, you have prayed and sought what the Almighty Father is saying to you regarding locations. If you are one to participate in that final exodus. If you are one who believes you will be a martyr for Yahusha, pray. Let us pray for those who will be martyrs or left behind, that they be strong and know that though the body will return to the earth from whatever causes, our spirit goes to the bosom of Abraham. Our spirit sleep and rest wherever that place Yahuah has established until resurrection time. On that note, Yahuah, a simple word, locations, but packed with functionality, things that must and will come to be. I thank you for listening, my brothers and sisters. If you are encouraged in any way, shape, or form, consider subscribing, share, like. Consider planting a seed, my brothers and sisters, a financial seed. White Rose Family is my hashtag. Hashtag White Rose Family. Help me, my brothers and sisters, see what that seed produces. On that note, I say to you, thank you for your patience. Thank you for choosing to pursue set apartness. And I end with the word, Shalom.